All right, what's up, everybody?
Hey, what's going on?
Welcome, Dads Who Mosh. The background saga continues, dude. I know I said in the last episode I was gonna get this background. This thing is so big. It's like too big, and like I don't like my fan is on. You can see it moving. I'm afraid to move too much because this thing has fallen over like 16 times since I put it up, and so. I don't know. We'll figure this out eventually. Eventually, we're gonna be, we'll be professional. But it's like I don't know what's better.
It's so funny. You sent me a picture of it, and it looks like you got like a king size comforter or something.
It totally could be. I know. It's like I could put this on my bed.
Yeah.
I don't know. My wife's gonna be so sick of this podcast by the time we're done.
Absolutely.
And it took me like half an hour to set up too, and I can't leave it in here. It's like, babe, the Dads Who Mosh banner is staying up.
So, okay, explain to me too. How is it set up? Is it set up on poles?
Yeah,
or
so it's like a whole
sheet, or what is it?
It's a whole pole system. So it's like a frame that it just like hangs from the frame, and it's got a base and everything. It's just like, part of it is just like the like where my desk is in our room too is just like not ideal. So I can't push it back any further. So who knows, man? Who knows? Yeah. I'm just going to have to break down, and eventually just go rent a space probably. That'll be the option.
Yeah.
And then I'll just turn this. I'll put this in the guest bedroom so people can this is what people will use. I'll turn it into a king-sized comforter, and this will be what people get to sleep under when they come visit. So
that'd be hilarious. Someone is visiting, they're like, "What?"
Right?
Yeah.
Give us a follow. That's the price of admission to stay at our house. I'll put a QR code like in the guest room too.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, Dads Who Mosh stuff everywhere. Like they just can't get away from it. It's just one YouTube channel on the TV in there. That's all they can watch.
On repeat, get those views up.
Exactly. Awesome. Welcome back, everybody. This is like the highlight of my week, man. It's been a stressful week. It's like tax season, like the tax deadline is almost here with like the business and personal taxes, trying to get that all figured out. On top of everything, like next week, it's going to be over 100 degrees here in Arizona. So it's just like, it's hot. And I mean, it's always hot. It's always warm in Arizona, but it's like uncharacteristically hot this early in the year. And I replaced the thermostat in our house, and I was so proud of myself. It was like an old analog one. I replaced it with the digital one that's supposed to be like energy saving, all of that stuff. You can control from your phone. I had to get on the phone because I had to add this power extender to the AC unit in the garage. So I'm on the phone with the tech guys, and they're walking me through all of it. Felt so good about myself. And then as soon as it started to get really warm, the thermostat just kicks off. It just turns off. No. And so we had a friend was visiting this last week, a few days ago, and Jana's cooking in the kitchen. She's got the oven going. She's got there's stuff in the toaster oven or in the air fryer. It's all going at once. I'm grilling outside. It's hot, and the thermostat just kicks off. We're all sweating to death. So we all ate outside, but it's just the joys of home ownership and being the responsible dad that is just too stubborn to call. I don't know if you ever watched, I'm sure you did. My dad's favorite show back in the day was Home Improvement. And that's who I've turned into. I'm we don't need to call a professional. I'll take care of this. And so I've become, and my dad's name is Tim too. So it's Tim Allen was his favorite guy. It was his idol when we were kids was Tim Allen's.
Have you seen that clip going around Instagram where it's a clip from the movie? I'm drawing a blank now, but it's Frank the Tank, and he's at the frat house, and he's talking to the frat
from
guys.
Old school.
Yeah. Yes. And he's I think he's got his shirt off, and he's like, yeah, I think this Saturday we're gonna go by Home Depot. It's gonna be a nice little Saturday. And every millennial guy can relate to that. It's
100%. 100%. Yeah. Well, and this week too, man, I had that friend coming in and trying to be good, trying to be responsible. So it's I knew I wasn't going to make it to the gym as much because we had company. So it's I went to the gym at they're 5 a.m. High Rocks classes. And then it's he didn't tell me until the night before. I was by the way, what time do you have to be at the airport tomorrow? He just kind of gave me a look. He's I have to be there at 5. So it's 3:30, we're up, driving to the airport. Yeah, so it's been a long week for sure. Not a lot of sleep.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Well, I was just going to say in daylight savings, but you guys don't do that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Everybody over here. This is speaking of dad jokes, and it's everybody like, oh, how about that daylight savings? You know,
exactly. Every single year, right? We complain about it every single year until well, then so Sunday was when daylight savings happens for most of the country.
Yeah,
my wife had this setting on her phone Sunday morning. Like Sunday, I can't remember what it was Saturday, but we had to be up kind of early Saturday. Sunday, it's like, a day to, sleep in. We were going to we're going to do church in the morning, but it's like later. So it's like we get to sleep in. She had an alarm on her phone that went off an hour earlier because she had like a setting on her phone to like, that was like automatically switch with daylight savings.
Yeah.
And so, it's just, we still can't get away from it, even though we don't have it here in Arizona.
Yeah. Brutal. Yeah. The dad jokes just write themselves with daylight savings. It's just like the most cheesy thing, but every year.
I know.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yeah.
Every year. Yeah. But
yeah, I didn't have this week I didn't have an air conditioning go out, but that home ownership, we went through this week, I don't know. Everything went out the same week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was right around the time I think I just gotten a bonus where like,
of course.
Okay, could we go on vacation? Should we go somewhere fun, go to Disneyland? And it was like, boom, dishwasher goes out. So like, okay, we call the guy. Of course, they can't fix it. You just have to get a dishwasher.
Yeah, of course.
As the guy leaves, the oven goes out. Are you kidding me?
What'd you do?
We call the same guy. He comes over to check the oven. Can't fix the oven. Well, and then right after that, the microwave goes out. And it was crazy. We felt like we were just going crazy.
Yeah.
We had to replace all of them within the course. Maybe it was a couple weeks, but it was just boom, boom, boom. Like, okay, there goes the entire bonus. So
yeah, exactly. Cool. Thanks. Bye. See ya.
Which is why we go into the mosh and swing our arms and punch people in the face.
That's right. That's right. We can still scrounge together $25 for a show,
Sometimes 50.
Yeah, sometimes 50, and then find out later that your parents are going to be visiting and you might not be able to go to that one. So, well, I guess, just to get into the music side of things.
Let's do it.
Bands you should know this week. The band that I picked that I feel like everybody should know, it's kind of another one of those bands that they're out there and they've been around for a while, but it's like I feel like not enough people know them and not enough people are talking about them because they're awesome. This is a band called God Complex. They're out of the UK. There's British hardcore, metalcore band. They're just filthy. Like they're so heavy. They're like just dark, heavy, just like nasty vocals. The snare tone in their last EP, which is called He Watches in Silence, that came out last year in 2025. The snare tone is just ridiculous. It's like those memes where it's like when you hear the snare and you're about to die. Like it's so good. The breakdowns are just like so crunchy, blistering breakdowns. The bass drops in it, it'll blow your subs out. They're so good. They're so heavy. Like I said, they're not quite as big as I feel like they should be. I think they opened for maybe Counterparts last year or something like that. I'm waiting for them to come in like a UK tour. I'm waiting for them to come to the States because I would love to see these guys. But yeah, if they're for fans of bands like End, Vane FM, Sanction, I'm just kind of like the heavier, like, there's some elements of, just like regular hardcore in there, metalcore, but just, really crunchy, super heavy. Love God Complex. So go check out God Complex when you get a chance, for sure.
Yeah, I'll have to check them out. I'm not familiar at all, so I'm going to add that to the rotation.
Yeah, for sure.
By the way, just a quick little side. I love this segment because I will learn bands from you. And let's go check these out.
For sure.
I went and gave No Cure a good listen. I had heard them. They've popped up. You've sent me stuff before.
Of course.
I hadn't spent, I like to pull up an album, listen to the album.
Yeah.
So good. Those guys.
So good, man.
Rip. I'm all in on them now. So
yeah, love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Excited to see him at Sound and Fury, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. The band that I went with this week, again, not a new band by any means. Also, might get torn apart for this being the band, but like, I love these guys. I can't get enough of them. The band Whispers. So I think we have a overseas kind of theme going this week.
Yeah.
But Whispers, they're a band out of Bangkok, and I just cannot say enough good things. I love their sound. I love their style. I love every single song. I think they only have a couple EPs. I don't know if they have a full album yet, but the EPs are just so good end to end. They're angry. They're aggressive. They've got these brutal breakdowns in the middle, two-step to it. I first saw these guys at Sound and Fury, and before a festival comes up, if there's bands I'm not familiar with, I'll go check them out and kind of, give them like a thumbs up or a thumbs down, maybe add them to the rotation. And these guys, I just couldn't get enough of them. As soon as I heard them, I sent them to you, I think like a year ago.
You did.
And I was just so excited. It's one of those bands I have to tell everybody about this band. So I wanted to give them a shout out today. I'd say, for fans of like Speed, Drain, Mind Force is kind of modern.
Yeah.
With this modern hardcore with some metalcore touches to it, bouncy riffs, just go listen to every song. I can't even give you one song because I would just say, just find them on Spotify, hit play, listen to all of them.
Yeah. Well, my favorite thing, and you've got the shirt, that says Bangkok Evil Core. Yeah. I feel like that's such a great term, like to even explain bands like Whispers, God Complex, No Cure. Even it's just like, not that they're evil dudes. It's just it's like the music, it's darker. It's darker than just like your typical. And I think that's what's cool is we're seeing some of these bands take like these elements of metalcore, like the breakdowns, the super heavy guitars, the, tuned real low. But they're kind of removing like the clean vocal aspect of metalcore, but then they're adding it with like the grittiness and like kind of the more raw sound of hardcore, and they're putting it together to make something that's like it's hard to define bands like Whispers, God Complex, No Cure, because it's like it's not hardcore, it's not metalcore, it's just like a combination of all of it just in this like one filthy heavy masterpiece. And so I love it.
Yeah. Exactly. It's this new, I don't know what they're going to end up calling it. There's probably a name for it deep in the depths of Reddit somewhere.
You're right.
But, which is what we were talking about last week. And I think it goes right into what we were talking about of there's so many of our favorite old metalcore bands. When we think of true metalcore, I guess the first wave of metalcore have kind of gone the way of, radio rock. Yep. Or, another term that gets floated out there is like baddie-core.
Yep, exactly.
Some of these are trending on TikTok. I think that's where it gets the baddie-core name is. Yeah. You got girls dancing to it on TikTok.
Exactly.
If you got girls dancing to your song on TikTok, like it's not hardcore.
Yeah. I was listening to the Downbeat podcast.
Yes.
And I can't remember. He was the drummer for Stray from the Path, but he takes a very strong stance that he was the one that came up with the term baddie-core.
I believe it.
So we'll see. But you're right. That's like when, if someone were to ask what bands are baddie-core bands, I would like get Jana, my wife Jana, and be like, hey babe, like show me what you've been listening to recently. Because it's like, if she likes it, it's probably baddie-core, right? Like if she can listen to it. So we, speaking of which, we had, at my gym, one of the owners there, her name's Amanda, we were talking about music. I was talking about music with a few of the guys there, found out there's a few guys that like, the same kind of music. We're trying to coordinate going to shows and stuff like that. And she was like, she's like, you guys listen to the same kind of music? She was like, yeah. She's like, Nate, I feel like you listen to scary music, which is, usually what people say. But then I was like, maybe I'll make a playlist and, we can play it during a workout. She's like, yeah, do it. I'm like, I'm going to destroy your business. Everyone's going to hate this. But I did it, and they put it on, and one of the trainers was like, I like this I like heavy music. I like this. She's like, some of us like this, and they put it on. They turned it off after one song. They're like, we hate this. I think it was like Contention, which isn't even that heavy. Like to me, it's not even that heavy.
Yeah.
And they turned it off immediately. So it is interesting because people are like, oh yeah, I like heavy music, or I like, heavy metal, or they call it screamo, or whatever it is. But it's like, I know what you listen to. You listen to Bad Omens. You listen to Sleep Token. You listen to even like Bring Me the Horizon.
Yeah.
Those are the bands. So that's like the baddie-core, the hot guys, with songs on the radio that, have some screaming in them.
Yeah. But not to be too much of a gatekeeper, it's good to see it. It's good to see it in the mainstream.
I think so. Yeah.
It's cool to see it at the Grammys.
Yep.
Get a little more exposure to the scene. So
Yeah. Well, and that's, I put that, maybe a different week to kind of talk about that, or we could even, hit it today. It's like that whole idea of like, is it a good thing, that stuff like baddie-core is out there? People like the hardcore scene it grew up in the underground, right? The punk scene, the hardcore scene, it was so underground. It was so weird for most people. And that was like a cool thing for a lot of us growing up. It's like, oh, I like this thing that nobody else likes, except for the people that do. And then when we're all together, we can kind of like relate. We feel good because it's like nobody gets us except for each other. But then all of a sudden, you're like, wait a second, like Turnstile has changed their sound and they don't sound hardcore anymore. Now everyone's like, best heavy metal or best metal performance is by Turnstile. You're like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so I don't know. It's like some people like it, some people I don't know what your take is on it, but like these bands that are gaining popularity, kind of growing out of that underground scene, and this this type of music becoming more popular.
For me, it's just a matter of I hate sellouts. I think that we've gone like really far where we now we need to call people out for being sellouts.
Yeah.
And we used to. The skateboarders didn't used to do ads for hemorrhoid cream because they got a paycheck. You would get called out for that. And now I feel like anybody does any ad and it's like, oh, well, they're just getting their bag. They got to do what they got to do. And I get that to a point, but also we used to bully people for being sellouts.
Yes. Yep.
And so I kind of feel that way in the scene of, I actually like Bad Omen, Sleep Token. They're just doing what they've always done, and they've taken off.
Yeah.
But what I hate seeing is when a band, what it appears is that they've changed their sound in order to get a larger audience, or these bands that it seemed like they started off heavy, and that's their fan base. They love them for this style, but they realize maybe there's more money, there's bigger record labels, there's bigger tours if they tune it down a little bit.
Yes.
And I know bands can change and evolve over time.
Yeah.
Me and you have changed what sounds we like and listen. And as an artist, you don't want to do the same thing over and over. I get it. I think at the root of it, I just hate sellouts. Don't change who you are for a little bit of cash.
Exactly. And I think that's it. And I think, and I've talked about this with a lot of people before. I probably said it on the podcast before, but I compare bands like Turnstile and Knocked Loose, right?
Yeah.
Turnstile, I know a lot of people are really into the the shoegaze sound and stuff like that. They've always kind of had a little bit of element of that, but their last album has arguably been their biggest album, gotten them the biggest tours, gotten them Grammys, and it sounds nothing like their first album. I know sometimes they've got blast beats in there still every once in a while and some faster pace. And I get it. I know they're still playing big outdoor shows in Baltimore with no barrier, and they still have that fan base. But to me, and I'm like, whatever, I don't fault you for it. But to me, I'm like, that you did kind of sell out. You changed your bass sound to something that's a lot more palatable to the general public, and now you're getting a lot of money for it. And fine, whatever, get that bag, But Knocked Loose on the other side, Knocked Loose to me, and I know even Knocked Loose, some people will call Knocked Loose baddie-core. The guys at Knocked Loose, right? The guys at Knocked Loose, some of them are really into fashion. Dude, I'll tell you how much of a simp I am for merch. Dude, as soon as I didn't wear it today, as soon as Knocked Loose's new album, or not that new song with Denzel Curry, dropped, immediately, dude, I bought the shirt that said, "I don't care that you hate yourself." I bought that.
Did you?
That's awesome. They did a collaboration with this company called Crap Eyewear. Okay. I bought the sunglasses, dude. I bought the Knocked Loose sunglasses. I should not have. It was a stupid waste of money. I still bought them because I love that band so much. But that's what I mean. Knocked Loose has been nominated for Grammys. Knocked Loose is playing Jimmy Kimmel. Knocked Loose is playing these massive headlines. I mean, they're opening for Metallica, I think, in Europe or something like that. Yep. Knocked Loose is arguably as big or as popular, if not more so, than Turnstile, and they have not changed anything. I mean, yeah, their production is better now. The album, sounds crisper, better. It's, if anything, they've doubled down. They're doing pig squeals on live television. They're, maybe they've changed their look, all of that, but they have not changed their sound. And I think they're making a lot of money off of it right now. So it's like, you can do it. You can do it. If you stick true to it, like, you can do it. That's like, Knocked Loose to me is like, this is a crazy example of all this, because it's like they're getting more popular and making heavy music popular without like, softening their edge at all.
Totally. And to the point, they're experimenting and doing new stuff. So, adding in Denzel Curry to, add this new element that they've never done before. That's really cool, while staying true to who they are, which is heavy music. Also, the success they had with adding Poppy on that song.
Yeah.
Another really cool way of branching out and expanding, but without like sacrificing who they are at their core. So totally with you. I think golden standard of how to do it correctly.
I think so too, man. I think so too. And it is funny. I don't know if this is accurate. So on their first split EP, Knocked Loose, they had a song called DTAH. And it's like one of my favorite songs that they've ever done. They never play it anymore. But
deep lore here. Love it.
Right? I know. And I heard a buddy of mine told me that the acronym DTAH is Death to All Hype Beasts, which a little bit of me is like, you guys are kind of like that now, with like the fashion and stuff like that. Maybe that's why they don't. But it's like their songs now, like that song, what is it, Hive Mind? Just as heavy as DTAH, however long ago that was. So shout out to Knocked Loose. I think I'll always love that band.
Absolutely.
But
sweet. Should we get into some hardcore news?
Let's do it. There's a few things going on. I loved your response to this one. 68, which if you're, if no one's aware, 68, it is Once the Chariot broke up in 2013. Josh Scoggin joined, and I'm terrible, I can't remember his name. He was the drummer, I think, for Becoming the Archetype. Created this duo that was like a blend. It was like if the Black Keys joined with the Chariot and had a child, punk rock child. Just like, guitars almost like bluesy but chaotic, just the duo. And then he joined with the drummer, Nico is his name, and it's been them ever since. But 68 announced their farewell tour. Jesse, your response was great. You're like, this guy just loves saying goodbye. This guy just loves leaving bands. Or something.
Exactly.
Announced it. He may who knows, I may try to go see them. They are going to come through town. We'll see what happens next for Josh Scoggin. Is the Chariot going to actually get back together? The rest of the Chariot gang, they're kind of just doing stuff here and there. I know like Steven is playing with House of Pain, but it's like they're not, they're just doing stuff here and there. Is he going to do vocals for Better Lovers, like everyone said? Josh Scoggin just recently wrote and put out a children's book. So it's like maybe he's just going to be an author forever. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Josh in 68. See if I can't imagine a world where we're not hearing Josh's voice in the hardcore scene anywhere. That would be sad.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like he's got to do something. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. I did also see Me Without You. Again, just another kind of very different, like, they came up in like the early 2000s. They definitely changed, a band that changed their sound, came up like kind of that post-hardcore, metalcore kind of a sound, and then turned into kind of like more spoken word weirdness, but still a really cool band. They've been broken up, for years now. I just saw on their Instagram, they just posted something that said Me Without You adjacent. We'll see. We'll see what that turns into, if anything. But a little bit there in the hardcore news world.
Yeah, I dug around. There wasn't a ton of stuff going on this week. But I saw a really funny post. So have you ever seen some of these, like, I don't know, marketing campaigns that Liquid Death does where they like put out the most ridiculous stuff? They've done all kinds of things. They did this like coffin chest. They limited edition. Well, they paired up with Spotify.
Okay.
And they created this Liquid Death urn, like for your like ashes after you're cremated. And and your urn will play one song from Spotify.
No way.
So
let me see. Did you do it?
Like,
did you find out like what your song is? Yeah.
No. I didn't. Is there like a quiz? I guess
I think I think there is.
No way.
We should do it. We should
absolutely do it. Maybe we could post our results online or something.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think I clicked on it at one point and I was like, oh, what's this? And then I didn't actually do it.
All right.
I think there's a way to do it. We'll figure it out.
Well, we got homework for next time.
That's right.
We'll post the results of our earned song. So if you're listening, go check it out. I just think it's hilarious. Liquid Death they've got to be up there in marketing. Just so great.
Dude, so great. I mean, a company that literally just sells water, right? Yeah. It's like they put it in beer. I mean, like when I first went sober, dude, I drink so much Liquid Death. I just do it. And it's so weird. Like when I quit drinking, it's just like it's like you just need something like in your hand. Like this feels like a tall boy and it's cold. And I take a drink and it's just water. But for whatever reason, I'm like, this is awesome. I bought into it 100%.
No, I totally get it. I have a good friend locally here who's sober and has been for a while. He goes to all these shows with us. And so, and it's like, okay, I know it's expensive, but it's like you can still like get a round, and like we'll buy a round and get him a water. And he'll buy a round and for us, and then he'll get a water. And it's, it makes it so that it's not this awkward, like, hey, everybody else go to the bar, you stay here.
Exactly. I don't know. We're such creatures of habit, right? And it's like the cans are cool. It's like, and so when I go to shows at the Nile here in Mesa, it's like you can buy a bottle of water for like $3, like an old like Kirkland signature bottle of water, or you can buy a Liquid Death for like $5. It's like, I'll take the Liquid Death. Like it's just cooler than drinking a bottle of water. So we need to tap into that somehow, because I mean they've figured out a way to make things that shouldn't be cool very cool. So that's awesome. What about new? I'll let you kick off first. I feel like I've been talking everyone's ear off here. What about new albums, EPs, singles? What do you got for us this week?
Yeah. So again, didn't see a ton of new albums or EPs come out. But there was a single that popped up in my notifications by the kind of like melodic hardcore emo band Koyo. And they're going to be playing at Sound and Fury. So I've put them in my rotation, but they have a new album that's coming out pretty soon, I think like in May. And so, they're doing what everybody has to do now, slowly release a couple songs. And so they have this new single out, I was digging it. I was just vibing to it. I really like these guys. They're like heavy enough to kind of scratch that itch, but they're like not so heavy that like my wife will listen to them if we're in the car.
Yeah.
And I have a 14-year-old son who's kind of into pop punk right now.
Okay.
He really likes listening to old like Taking Back Sunday and Story So Far, and he just is kind of in that phase right now. And
love it.
So I put him on the new single, and he was like, I kind of dig this, Dad. So my gateway into the
That's right. So both of my boys, like neither of them really listened to anything heavy. They did when they were little because like, I want to be like Dad, but now it's like it's not as cool. So I'm trying to get them back. My oldest, admitted the other day, he's like, he really likes Manchester Orchestra. He likes Microwave, so it's kind of the alternative, and so I was like, okay, I can roll with that. I like those bands. But so that does lead me to a question though, and I've asked people this question, so I have to ask you.
Yeah.
We'll have to ask, maybe the listeners too, put a poll out there on Instagram. As people who are connoisseurs of heavy music, I know we listen to all kinds of music, but obviously like heavy music is what we prefer. I always ask, like, what are the pop punk bands that are acceptable for a hardcore kid or a hardcore guy to listen to? Like, what are the ones that are still considered hardcore that can still play at hardcore festivals and not be considered lame? What are those bands for you that are acceptable pop punk bands?
That's so tough.
Yeah.
I have a lot that I like. I mean, I have like a whole playlist of kind of pop punk that I'll flip over to.
Yeah.
I already kind of mentioned I like Taking Back Sunday. I don't care what anybody says. They pop up a lot in my rotation. Story So Far.
Yeah.
4 Years Strong.
Yeah. That
kind of feel. Yeah. That I don't know. Those are the ones that come top of my mind.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree. I love the Story So Far. And I love No Pressure, like, but same guy. I can't remember his name, the vocalist name. So I love Neck Deep. I'll always, Neck Deep is a ton of fun.
Deep. Yes. So good.
And 4 Years Strong. who were the guys we saw? Oh, I can't remember now. We saw them at Furnace Fest. There's a pop punk band that played there. I'm forgetting it. Yeah, like those guys. I feel like those guys, are definitely like, it's okay to like those guys, and it doesn't make you any less hardcore. So yeah, I just always have to ask that. What are those bands that are acceptable? Because I've seen like the story so far. I can't remember which festival they played, but it was like, maybe it was FYA or something like that. It was a hardcore festival, but they played, and No Barrier. Kids are up on stage singing, doing stage dives, stuff like that. So
I love it. I've talked about these guys a ton, but like I Promise the World, and again, kind of in that metalcore, but also have some cleans in it. Love those guys.
Yeah, awesome. So my new album this week is by a band called The Set, or the SET is the band. There's been a little bit of like back and forth with members. Yeah, a little bit. So this band is made up of right now, currently, a few guys, including the drummer from the band End It, and then Shay, who is the founder of Flat Spot Records. And Flat Spot Records has all kinds of like really great punk hardcore bands on it. A little bit of drama with the band. They're from Baltimore, and I feel like, every band from Baltimore has members that are in another band, whether it's like Trapped Under Ice and Drug Church and Turnstile. A lot of these bands, just like people kind of bounce around. One of the guys that was with the band, who was also with Turnstile for a while, left the band, did some post about like, hey, go check it out, but don't support these guys. They just do covers.
Yeah.
I don't know. I went to their Spotify. I was like, which one of these songs are covers? Maybe when they do live shows, they just do covers, but hardcore band drama is so funny to me. Like that any drama, in bands is so silly to me. But The Set, I really dig them. Like if you're into like Turnstile or End It, they're even, End It is, I love End It. They're, pretty pure hardcore, but even a little bit heavier, just like meaner, more traditional, that heavier Baltimore hardcore sound, closer to like, old Trapped Under Ice, stuff like that. So yeah, go check out The Set. Listen to the album, but don't support them. Like, nah, go support them. Go see them live. Super cool. Yeah, that's what I've got this week.
Nice. I love it. Good pick. And also, what is up with Baltimore hardcore? They should, those Real Housewives of, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
They need a Real Hardcore of Baltimore or something.
Exactly. Right. Sit them all down at like, dinner at some resort and make them, because, somebody's mad at somebody else. I don't know. Baltimore hardcore doesn't miss. They just put out.
So
it's like one of the best scenes in the entire nation, but everyone's just, I feel like you kind of have to have, there's just a lot of beef, in Baltimore in general. I feel like you just are born kind of pissed if you live in Baltimore.
Yeah. So. It's like a gritty city.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
You got to be tough to make it there for sure.
That's right. But well, I guess kind of like shifting gears now, into the dad side of things.
Yeah.
One of the things that, Jesse and I were kind of talking about, we started this last week, but just kind of building off of that, the idea that like dads especially need like a support group. They need friends, but it's really hard for dads to make friends. So I was thinking about this the other day, like it's easy, I think, because there's this meme, right, where it's like this guy, it's like how quickly guys become friends. And it's like, you see the same person walking by every day. First day, it's like a nod. Second day, it's like a bigger nod. Then it's fist bump, handshake. Then it's like hugs.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that, but I'm like, it's not really like friendship, right? Like it's really easy for us to make acquaintances. It's easy for guys to like network, be really friendly, but as far as actual friendships, I feel like those are few and far between, at least for me. Like, and it's like, I don't know. It's, it's interesting. Like, and I don't know, your thoughts, Jesse, on this too, but it's like, why is it so hard for guys to make really close friends? Like the ride or die, people that will be there for you no matter what.
Yeah, man. First off, I'm with you. I totally agree that it's so easy to make acquaintances. I'm in this shared office, and there's guys I see every day.
Yeah.
I don't know what their names are, and we fist bump, and or I'll even tell my wife, like, oh yeah, this guy from the office. It's like, I have no idea what his name is, but and I wanted to do so I'm a software engineer, I write code. And so I'm a nerd. I went and found some data on this because you asked like, hey, why does this happen?
Yeah.
And so I actually grabbed some numbers, not to put the audience to sleep here.
I love it.
One of the things I found is that, okay, over the last decade, the number of men with 6 or more close friends has dropped by about half. So in 1990, roughly 55% of men had 6 or more close friends.
Yeah.
Today, they say that number is around 25%. And that came from like American Survey Center. So I don't know, hopefully a legit source.
It's got to be close. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they also said that around 15 to 20% of men now report having 0 close friends, and that they like rarely get emotional support, which is so, it's like sad to hear, but also feels very true.
I get it.
You know?
Yeah, I get it. I mean, it's like the whole, like, who's going to carry your coffin? I'm like, dude, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll hit Jesse up. I'll maybe like, I don't know. I went to like, I saw this guy like 3 times at the Nile. Maybe he'd be down to, just like.
That's so funny.
So yeah, it is. And I don't know, man. I mean, cause I was thinking about that and, I wonder, part of it is like independence, right?
Yeah,
like
100%.
I'm a guy. I don't want to, it's not necessarily like, I don't need anybody. I think it's like, I don't want to bother anybody with my problems. It's like, look, I got a job to do. I got a family to take care of. I'm not, to be a really close friend with somebody is like to be vulnerable and open up. And I'm just like, hey, you're a dad. I'm a dad. I know you're dealing with stuff. I'm dealing with stuff. The last thing you need is me, like, just dumping all of my garbage on you. I'm just not going to, and in the meantime, it's like, yeah, we got to go to work. We got to take the kids to sports. We got to make time for the gym. We got to like, go to the grocery store. We got to do all those things. And I think sometimes we feel guilty doing things. For ourselves. We feel guilty dumping stuff on other people. I don't want to bother you with that. Yeah. I don't know. Just in my own life, I think there's a lot of, for me personally, it's like, I'm just going to deal with this. I don't want to bother my wife with it. I don't want to bother anybody else with it. I'm just going to deal with this and I'll get through it on my own.
Well, and as I was thinking about this too, there was a couple things that came up. My first question is, how do adults even make friends now?
Yeah.
Because as a child and even in school, you're forced into this daily relationship. And then through that, you just come close, you find your people. You move into high school. Now you're in clubs or you play sports and you're you're seeing the same people over and over. And you're forced into these friendships. And then even into college, if you have the traditional college experience, you've got roommates, you've got people you're on group projects in person, kind of in the trenches with.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you have all these friendships you're kind of forced into, and then you become an adult, you go get a job at work. And I think there used to be, and I've seen numbers on this too, we have these lack of third places, right? So like the first place, being home, the second place being work, and then the third places are these places where you can just gather and hang out.
Yeah.
And there's numbers on this too about like teenagers not having those third places to hang out anymore. And so a lot of them are hanging out online, virtually, which then leads to just hanging out with kind of strangers online.
Yeah, exactly.
But it happens with us too. I had friends in Montana that I still play video games with, and we never interact in person.
Yeah.
But we'll link up for Call of Duty at 10 o'clock at night or something.
Yep.
And so I think that's still helpful to have that, but it's not like the in-person relationships that we all kind of need and are really looking for.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, and I don't know, when I think about like even my own dad, it's like, does my dad have super close friends? Totally. No. My wife's dad, I can think of like, maybe 1 or 2 guys that he, still talks to, if they're still around or like, talks about. So yeah, and it's like for my wife and I too, I feel like, or even, really specifically for me, there's almost like this checklist, this mental checklist where it's like, you're so busy that if you are going to try to like take time out of your day or your life and try to build a relationship or friendship with somebody, there's almost like certain boxes that need to be checked. And it's like, you don't want to be judgmental, but you're just like, look, like if you and I are really going to get along, it's like, you gotta be a married guy. You gotta be a husband. You gotta have, you gotta have kids. You gotta be around the same age. You gotta be working. It's like, not because it's like, you need to be a certain type of guy, but it's like, you need to understand what I'm going through. It's like, I know guys that, let's like, or I've met guys that it's like, they're married, but they even like how long you've been married. Like I get this guy that I've been hanging out with at the gym. You know, we've been talking about going to shows and stuff together. God bless him. He's been married for like 3 months. And I'm like, that's great. But you and I are going to like, the amount of like, you know, things that we can relate on when it comes to like, you know, marriage is going to fill up like 15 minutes worth of time, right? It's like, aside from the fact that we are both married, that's about it. Like, you know, I've been married for almost 18 years now. So, I mean, it's just like, it's, you know, all that. And it's like people that have kids, they're busy. So it's like, I have, you know, I've had friends in the past where it's like, they don't have kids. And they're like, come on, let's hang out. And it's like, dude, I cannot. Like, I've got a million things going on. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just, you know, and then guys at work, you know, it's like, you know, have a certain, like you and I feel like connect on so many levels because like we've got remote jobs, we've got kids, we've got, you know, we've got wives that, you know, are, you know, very also, you know, independent and they're able to do their own thing, you know, and they're great moms. You know, you've got more kids than I do. But, you know, our kids are around the same age. And so, yeah, it's just, and we like the same kind of music too. So it's like you could find somebody that matches all those boxes and they're like, yeah, I'm going to go, I don't know, see.
Sleep
I can't even
Token.
think. Yeah, I'm going to go watch Sleep Token. Yeah. Like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm with you. I 100% agree. It sounds so snotty or to be like, well, you got to check all these boxes. But when you have kids and you talk to people that don't have kids, like it's like talking to an alien. It's like you don't know what is the pickup, the drop off, the even just the baby stage and the sleepless nights and there's a I'm trying to figure out if I should throw them under the bus or not. But have you ever talked to someone like someone who's a non-parent that just got a puppy?
Oh yeah.
This is a pet peeve of mine. And they will say something like, "Oh, now I understand what it's like to be a parent because I got a puppy that's kept me up all night."
Dude, I will, and I will throw him under the bus, and he can get mad at me if he wants. My younger brother has a dog, no kids, but he has a dog.
Yeah.
And at one point, this man had the audacity to tell me that, and I quote, "In a way, it's actually harder to have a dog than it is to have a baby." And I was like, dude, you cannot put a baby outside. Like your baby is crying and needs to go to the bathroom. You can't just pick him up and put him in the backyard, right? Like you gotta deal with it. So I'm just like, I don't think he thinks that anymore. I think that was a while ago. So
totally,
you know, I think he would probably retract that statement. But at the time I was like, dude, you gotta walk away right now because you are not correct, sir.
I'm with you. I get it, which is why we relate so much.
Yeah, I know, man. Yeah, I don't know. So, I mean, and that's, you know, honestly, like that is part of the heart. And that's, I think one of the cool things, even just as, you know, you and I have been, you know, kind of, I think, you know, trying to bring this podcast to a new level, a new page. And there's been a lot of cool interactions with dads, you know, like just even over the past few weeks. And I love that. And I think even just a place for guys to like be able to talk about music. I don't want to talk about work. I don't want to talk about the stress of marriage right now. It's like, I just want to talk about this sick album that just dropped. Like, you know, like I want to hear about the show that you went to, you know, it is. And we've said it before, but that is the heart of dads who mosh, because that's, you know, as cheesy as it may sound, like the moshing aspect, like if you're moshing, you're giving it all, you're going all out, like, you know, you're just giving it everything you have. And that's like dads have to be that way. Dads have to go all out. They got to give it their all. There's so many deadbeat dads out there that just like skimp on their responsibilities or whatever. And it's like, that's not what we want to be. And we want to find a way to connect with and encourage dads that are trying to be like that. So whether that's just online, you know, finding guys to go to shows with together so they can relax a little bit. So yeah, that's the heart of it. If you don't have any friends, hit us up.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll talk shows, we'll talk life. All that stuff.
Yeah, and not to harp on it too much, but I think another statistic that I've seen is this growth of podcasts, and the audience of it is like all males. It's males watching other males talk on podcasts because they're missing that. And you know, me and you have talked about this. I don't know if anybody listens to this, but I still enjoy the conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
The camaraderie and working on something together and that shared stage of life and just, like kind of having this shared interest. It's exactly what we talked about. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, it's just, and we've said, like you said, you said it before, but it's like, if nobody listens, which I know some people listen to it, but it's like, so it's not totally in vain, but it's like, if nobody listened to this podcast, you and I have like this set time once a week where we're just going to hang out and we're going to chill and we're being intentional about it. And I think that's it. I think guys just have to be intentional about it. We talked about this last week too. I met a few guys at my gym, found out they like that same kind of music, did the awkward, like, hey, can I have your number? Sent out a group text. It's like, these guys, maybe they'll come to the show, maybe they won't, but at least you're taking steps towards, having that dedicated time to just hang out with the guys, do something y'all enjoy, have fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, the fact that you sent the text, Madison is really good at encouraging me because I will do the same, like, they're probably busy, or like, the economy's bad right now. I don't know if they can afford it. I do these like I don't even want to ask them because like maybe that, it's just, but then it's like, okay, just invite them to Furnace Fest. Maybe they can come. Yeah. Invite them to Warped Tour, invite them to whatever. And, they can say no. And so, yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. No, love it. So thank you guys. I mean, any of the dads out there listening to this, appreciate you guys. Keep up the good work. We're right there with you. We're in the trenches with you. Hit us up. Appreciate you guys.
Should we talk about this playlist?
Let's do it. I do too. I'm going to let you go first because I love the pick that you had for a lot of different reasons. So you go first.
Yeah, this has been such a fun addition to this. Is every week I'm like, there's so many options. Yeah, and we could do this forever.
Yep.
And also like the greatest hits of the Dad Tumash is so great. So okay.
Yes.
So I went back and forth on new and old. Yep. And every now and then I'll hear a song. I'm like, that's the one I want. But the song that spoke to me this week was Heavy Steps by Comeback Kid.
Yes.
It's not even their most popular song, and it's one of their newer songs. I went and looked it up. I feel like it's a song that's been out forever, but it came out like pandemic times, like
it did
2020 or 2022.
That album.
It just feels like it, again, back to that, like the core of who they are. And so that song is so good. I have so many memories of being in a pit in that song.
Yeah,
I saw them at Warped Tour. They killed it. I saw them at Furnace Fest. They killed it. I saw them at Brick by Brick, and they played that song. And when they start playing Heavy Steps, people are literally stepping everywhere. It's so good every time.
So good.
Even with a barrier at Warped Tour was the craziest. And I just like can close my eyes and feel that song.
I love it.
As cheesy as it sounds.
Yeah. No, I love that you picked this one because I was so close to putting a Comeback Kid song on this week and I didn't. And that's why I was like, can we have like, after a while, it's like, especially bands that have been around for 20 plus years. It's like, do we have like multiple songs from the same artist? Cause it's like, I was looking back at like, what was it? Not the album that False Idols Fall and stuff like that is Wake the Dead. I was looking at Wake the Dead. I was like, oh, which song from Wake the Dead? I love this song, Heavy Steps. I love from that album. I loved Dead on the Fence is one of the songs that I listened to. Yeah. This album was great. This was a great Comeback Kid album. So I love that you put this one on there. I also went back and forth. I had a few options, but then it was probably either God Complex Radio or No Cure Radio on Spotify. And this song came up and I was like, this is it. I have to put this song in there. I love this song. It's Necessary Death by End. Again, not a newer one. This came out from the first EP that End ever made. This track, anytime it comes up, is completely unskippable for me. I thought I had a sneeze coming. It went away. And, most of our listeners are probably familiar. It's like this super group. It's got members from Counterparts, Shai Hulud, Fit for an Autopsy. Will Putney is there. Brandon is, from Counterparts, Misery Signals, Reign Supreme, which Reign Supreme is a band that I love too. I like when these guys first came out, for me, it was like this breath of fresh air. And it was kind of like, that evil core sound. Is it hardcore? Yes. Is it metalcore? Yes. But it's also no. Just that really gritty, crunchy, heavy, hardcore. Brandon from Counterparts is on it, and he like manages to just like make his voice heavier and darker. The lyrics are really dark. Counterparts' most recent EP, Heaven Let Them Die, sounds a little bit more.
I thought so too.
Yeah, because it is darker. It doesn't have, I mean, it did have some melodic parts, but, and just, it's like counterparts without the melodic parts, super heavy. The final breakdown in this song, Necessary Death, like it makes me want to chop a tree with my bare hands. It's so good. When this song first came out, we were living in Hawaii. And I was we had the shared office space where I worked in Hawaii, and nobody was in there that day. And I played that music video, and I was like spinning around on my office chair, just like punching the air. I was like, this song is so freaking good. So Necessary Death by End is going on the playlist this week for me.
Yeah, I love it. Great pick. We're getting a little bit of a variety in there too.
I know. I like it. This is going to be such a good playlist when we're all done with it.
Exactly.
Again, even if no one listens to it, Jesse and I have a great playlist for each other. So
well, and I do like eventually if we're going to have some guests on here.
We've
been lining up some people, and I would love to get our guests to add to our list and just get a really cool variety. Yeah,
I totally agree. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, what about upcoming shows? Anything you got coming up?
I've purchased a lot of tickets. I've kind of got my spring and summer starting to take shape, but nothing right away. So I don't have anything until April, but I am looking forward to in April. I've already said it, but The Undertaking and No Innocent Victim and Meadows coming over from Alabama. So shout out Meadows.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm here in Mesa, March 25th. So in a couple weeks, going to go see Varials.
Yeah,
at the Nile. And then I know I was kind of complaining earlier at an earlier episode about we were talking about venues and how Drain and No Pressure and Haywire are playing at this place in Tempe called the Marquee Theater. It's got a barrier and stuff like that. I wasn't going to go just because of that. But I'm like, I feel like I need, there's nothing in April. I need something to hold me over. I may go. Like, it's also one of those that's timed poorly because I have to fly out the very next day for a work trip. So, but I feel like I may just go. And who knows? Maybe we just all get creative and we find a way to rush the stage. It could happen. Anything can happen. If you've got Haywire and Drain playing the same venue, we may be able to make it happen. We may be able to turn it into a punk show. So, so I may hit that one up locally. I was going to say locally here in Mesa, just, I'm making a point of this. The Within These Walls Festival, they just announced, the announcement. So in April, they're going to announce the whole lineup. Michelle and the team over there have been teasing that. So I'm excited to see the lineup for Within These Walls. That'll be a good one. So I'll make sure to post about that too here for our Arizona listeners.
Do they have dates for that yet? I know we were talking about maybe.
Yes, they do. Let me see. It's in September.
Okay. Yeah, send it over my way.
Yeah, let's see. Oh no, that was last year. Yeah, it is in September. We'll post that for sure. Okay. We'll make sure everyone is aware of that. So, because I know there's some Arizona folks.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, that's all I got for this week.
I think me too. I think that's it. Now I got to take another half an hour to tear this banner back down and store it in the guest bedroom.
Turn it into a comforter.
Exactly. So awesome. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate everybody.
All right. Peace.
Later.